Good morning, friends. I hope you're having a good day. Today, we're gonna talk about the faction Mordor and the build order for this faction. In this tutorial video, I'm gonna explain everything related to Mordor. Uh, Units, heroes, and strong units and high tier units. First of all, we need to know the faction we're against, and then we're gonna get units accordingly. We are against goblins. If we are against spammy factions like goblins, Mordor, Angmar, I prefer always to go for Orc Pit because they are also spam. So you need the spam versus spam. You need your farms around the fortress to be 97%, so you can get most income from these three slaughterhouses. Okay. You know that the Orc warriors are very cheap units. They cost only 80 resources. This means these three slaughterhouses will produce more than we can spend. So we're gonna go for the three Orc pits. If the unit is cheap, you need many barracks. If the unit is expensive, you need only one barracks. We'll get all kind of units, orc and orc archers. Actually, orc archers is a little bit expensive, 250. But if we cover it with orc warriors, we can defend. We can defend the orc archers from all sides. And the orc archers are so good versus other spammy units such as goblins, Gundabad orc, wildmen. We have three orc pits. This build order works versus goblins, and also it works. Oh, whoa! He started with half trolls, but it's fine. Still, orc archers can kill these half trolls, and I think we're gonna have a lead. Monsters of the spam always kill the other non-spam. So spam is very powerful in this game, and the half trolls are expensive units, more farms, and we're still building from only three. We're gonna creep this troll there. It's not efficient to creep it like that, but let's do it anyway. We can do it. We have so many orc. We have three orc pits, and we can switch into troll cage and keep making more orc and orc archers, and it's very important to spread our armies all over the map. Like top side of the map, a group of units, orc archers and orc warriors from the bottom side of the map, so you can cover yourself from all areas. You need to expand all sides, and you need also to attack from all sides. And you need lots of units to do that. Okay. I'm gonna also talk about I think we're now fine. We're gonna talk now about, and it's very important to keep sending units all areas, like top side of the map, group of units, combination of units, middle side of the map, combination of units. You need to scout. This way you're not just attacking, you're scouting. Maybe your enemy has a huge army in this area and going to attack you. When sending a group of units, you scout this area. Okay. Now it's over, I think, at this point. The build order, it's very easy against the goblins. You can do whatever you want. The Black Orc with Gasmog is also great combination. You know, the Black Orc are very tanky unit. And Gasmog makes them even tankier with his leadership. He has strong leadership, and he makes the Black Orc stronger. Goblins doesn't favor the goblins always in this matchup. Mordor has upper hand against against goblins, but a good goblin player can still make it. So against the forces of light, we're gonna talk that we need a stronger unit, not the spammy unit like orc warriors. And against elves, actually, this build order works versus certain factions, such as Isengard, goblins, and Mordor. Yeah. And even the dwarves, because dwarves are very bad against spam. If you have so many orc pits, dwarves they don't get early battle wagon. Very rarely they get early battle wagons. They normally start with a guardian and they creep some. I mean, not the guardians, phalanx they are called, the pikemen, and they creep some of the creep on the map. So you need 3 orc pits versus dwarves as well. Okay. Let's cover against the elves and dwarves. I mean, yeah, we talked about the dwarves, 3 orc pits. You can always scout with the Eye of Sauron at the start if the dwarven player is getting a battle wagon, which very, very rare to get a battle wagon, the dwarven player. Okay, so we're gonna talk about elves and men now. Against elves and men, they should against elves and men, you should start with Corsairs barracks because they have very strong. They are strong soldiers. They are strong soldiers, and they can beat the Gondor soldiers. Against the elves, also, you need to kill the Lorien warriors and Lorien archers. And with Corsairs have fire bombs. So the build order is gonna be 2 farms, one tavern for the unit, for the Corsairs unit. If you buy 2 tavern, there will be a discount for these Corsairs. Now they are 350. After 2 taverns, they are gonna be like 315. So there will be discount on that. And the Corsairs are great unit, as I said, because they have fire bombs and they can burn the archers of the enemies. Black Orc is always better, I believe. They are stronger. Corsairs are faster. So for the long term, you need Black Orc. For the early start, you can harass with Corsairs. But you should really get a transition into better units after the Corsairs, such as, I don't know, just anything that suits the situation. Attackers can sometimes be good. I suggest them mostly versus forces of evil. Haradrim archers, on the other hand, are good versus elves, men, and the dwarves because you need to kill the forces of light units. They have very, very strong units: guardians, Gondor soldiers, men of Dale. This kind of unit needs Haradrim archers to kill it. For the Mumakil, it's perfect versus factions who don't have very strong archers or Mirkwood or Rangers or Men of Dale. So it is perfect to get the Mumakil versus the Goblins and versus Isengard. Also, they don't have strong archers. Although they have a strong pikemen, but they don't have strong archers. We will go now against elves. Mordor versus elves. And we're gonna buy... Okay, we're gonna buy now Corsairs start. We will go Corsairs. we will go Corsairs as Mordor versus the elves and men. I don't recommend it versus dwarves because dwarves have very strong melee damage. They can kill the Corsairs. You should always spam over spam dwarves with unit orc. Orc spam. Dwarves are weak against spam. This way we go for the orc warriors. Corsairs start and we go with the war chant. War chant is different than the eye. Eye of Sauron is made for the orc, while mostly at the start. Later on you can use it wherever you want. But for the war chant it's stronger, deals 33% armor and damage. This one gives 25% armor and damage, which is not ideal, but it's perfect for a group of units. The reason for that is the Eye of Sauron. You can move it when the orc battalion dies to another orc battalion. Yeah, while Corsairs, it's a strong unit. It doesn't die very easily, so you can use the war chant on it. So we can call it like that. The stronger the unit, the better war chant is gonna work. The weakest unit, Eye of Sauron, go on it. Okay, our build order is 2 farms, 2 slaughterhouses, 1 Corsairs, and then 1 Haradrim Palace. We need Haradrim Palace sooner or later, and 1 more farm now. Always keep getting more farms. The enemy got horses. Let's try to destroy the horse stable before he gets any. Okay, he got some of the horses. He started with horses. This doesn't happen normally against players, and if it does, you will have a backup with these Eastlings to just combine them with Corsairs. This way you can destroy their horses or protect your Corsairs from the horses. Looks like our Corsairs are gonna be killed. The AI is starting with weird units. Normally players start with Lorien warriors, and or maybe they creep. They either start with Corsairs, Lorien warriors, or maybe Mistborn sentries to creep the map stuff. Okay. Should rebuild the farms we lost. 2 farms. And horses are gonna trample us. We have enough pikemen. Elven horses are very fast, and they destroy farms very quickly. Later on, it's very important to get the Mouth of Sauron, so Mouth of Sauron can deal with them, and he's fast, just like the elven horses. Okay, what are we gonna talk now about is Fell Beast. They are so important against also the horses of the elves. If, however, the elves, they don't have Mirkwood archers hiding inside the wood, Fell Beast destroys the horses very quickly. And Mumakel, I also forgot to talk about the Mumakel. Mumakel are made to protect the catapults of Mordor. If you have, for example, some catapults, and you need better protection from the horses of the enemy, like Rivendell Lancers or maybe Rohirrims, Mumakel will protect your catapult by just sitting near the catapult. Okay, this information I gathered them by spamming 1 versus 1 throughout the years. Like Mumakel, everyone thinks that the Mumakel is aggressive and you should send it alone. This is wrong. You don't need to send the Mumakel alone. You need it. Mumakel is perfect versus forces of evil like goblins and Isengard and Mordor, but you can also use it against forces of light not very early, but once you have the lead. Once you have, for example, the Black Riders from the Great Siege work, you get the Black Riders and the Black Riders will kill the archers of the enemy. So always try to get catapults and Black Riders to limit the horses of the enemy. I mean rangers and archers. Once you limit them with your Black Riders, your Momakel is gonna be unstoppable. Momakel dies very quickly against Mirkwood and Men of Dale and Ithilian Rangers. This way, with the Black Riders, you can finish them. Also, one more point about the Momakel. The Momakel, I believe you shouldn't spam it. It's expensive, and the enemy will prepare against that. So 2 Momakel are gonna be more than enough. One from the right side of the map and one from the left side of the map. Black Riders and Momakel and catapults, very powerful together. And some Haradrim archers protected by... Mordor has a different play styles than other factions because of their orc spam and their Haradrim archers and Momakel, like the units are different than any other. Man of the West, it is easy faction. Just make rangers and pikemen, tower guard, and you're good. You can harass from many sides. But for this faction, Mordor, you need to know when to use your heroes, your Haradrim archers, your Black Riders. Like if the enemy doesn't spam Rangers or Men of Dale, don't go for the Black Riders. Go for a Fell Beast, because sometimes the Dwarven player spams Phalanx and Guardian from all sides, and then you're gonna be in trouble. This way, your Black Riders won't do much against the Phalanx of the Dwarves. You need it versus Men of Dale. Just get all kind of units, a combination of everything, and you can do really good against these factions. Against Isengard, spam is very powerful of the orc. So if you have orc and orc archers against Mordor, I mean Isengard, orc and orc archers protected by Isselings in case he goes for the Warg Rider, you can deal lots of damage against Isengard. They don't have arrow volley like Men of the West do. They don't have strong horses. Warg Riders are not good against trample. They can trample the orc, but if they trample a big number of orcs, they lose HP and they die, and there is no heal or well to heal the Warg Riders. So Mordor has advantage versus Isengard, versus goblins, versus all the forces of evil overall. Yeah, Mordor has the best units in this game, in my opinion, and it is my favorite faction. So, yeah, always make this build order versus forces of evil. I'm gonna repeat it. 3 orc pits works perfect against goblins. I mean, not very early 3 orc pits. I'm gonna say the right build order: 2 slaughterhouses, 1 orc pit, 1 slaughterhouse, another orc pit, and another orc pit. So there will be in total 3 slaughterhouses and 3 orc pits. If your opponent, however, is an aggressive player with the forces of evil, I'm gonna explain what you should do against him. I'll just give you a build order, a special build order against special and aggressive players who always go for a very early barrack. You could go for 2 slaughterhouses, and your opponent is gonna probably do 1 tunnel, for example, from the goblin, and 2 goblin caves. 1 tunnel, 2 goblin caves, and he spams you with goblins. So this way you can get 2 slaughterhouses and 2 orc pits. This works perfect versus the spam. So you will have more orc than he has in the map. You will have more orcs than he has goblins on the map. In this way you can just out spam him, search for the tunnels. Very, very important to search for the tunnels of the goblins and stuff. So this is one of the start you can do as Mordor versus the goblins, and also works versus Isengard, because you're gonna make Isengard uncomfortable, and works also versus dwarves, and also Mordor. Just make sure you will get a third slaughterhouse, and then Haradrim Palace. You should not go for a third orc pit, because you need to just, he might counter you with some kind of horses, or maybe he's predicting your orc spam. If he's good player, he will go directly after the orc spam, a goblin spam. He will go after the goblin spam from 2 goblin caves. He will go directly for maybe spider riders. So you don't really want to um, make so a 3 orc pits. So it's perfect to get 2 orc pits and 1 Haradrim palace. If your opponent is going to make spider riders, you will scout that with your orc in near his base sooner or later. So you need to do units according to what your opponent is doing. Protect yourself and with pikemen, and if he's totally going for the spam, go for also spam of orc and orc archers without the eastlings. For the forces of light, Corsairs is the best start against elves, men, and yeah, elves and men. Corsairs is the best start. Later on, a black orc. You need a combination of unit. You can't keep playing with Corsairs. You need maybe after that Haradrim horses, after the Corsairs, to trample the archers of forces of light, like Gondor archers, or maybe Lorien archers. So try to get all kind of units. This will help you so much against any faction, actually. But this is the main start. I hope I covered everything. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this is gonna help you in improving this game in the Mordor faction. Have a good day, everyone, and take care.